When I go to work over the last few weeks, people keep saying to me, you look tired, you look stressed out. And they say that losing your home and losing the roof over your head is one of the most stressful things that you can go through in life. So yeah, I am tired and I am stressed out. But I'm determined to stick with this. And the stress that I'm feeling reminded me that I'm used to this stress. When I was a kid in Fatima Mansion's flats, a lot of us lived with stress like this in our lives over and over. And there's a connection between the stress I felt as a kid in a place like Fatima Mansions and the stress I'm feeling now. And the connection is the housing policy of this government and the government before it and the government before it. The reason I grew up in a ghetto was because they wanted to brutalise and demonise people that lived in social housing so they could fulfil Thatcher's dream. They wanted to run down the public housing estates to drive us all into the arms of profiteers. And here I am, 40 years later, with no rights. A landlord can sell the roof out from under me, can sell my home, can put me into emergency accommodation. In 14 other European countries, what's happening here in Tathony House would be against the law.
James O'Toole, I'm one of the tenants here at Tathony House, where an entire block is facing mass eviction into the certainty of emergency accommodation and homelessness. So we're basically resisting our mass eviction. We're resisting it on the streets, we're resisting it by community organising, and we're resisting it in the courts and through the RTB. Every means that we have at our disposal.
Here in Ireland, they put working class people into ghettos, they demonise public housing, they talk about antisocial behaviour, they criminalise the victims of the system, and then those of us that end up in private rented accommodation have no rights. We have to say enough is enough. We have to say that whether you're living in council estate, whether you're living in run-down public housing, whether you're living in private housing, we need to unite and we need to fight back and we need to draw a line in the sand. And often it's hard to have the confidence to fight back. It's hard to do it by yourself. That's why you need to join a tenants union like CAR2. You need to organise your community to stand with you. Because when I see all you standing here today, it gives me the confidence to fight on.
I think there's a lot of tenants who are getting eviction notices and they're just walking into homelessness, they're walking into emergency accommodation, or they're walking into overcrowded conditions. You know, they're taking a room somewhere that's not suitable. And I think what gives you the courage to fight is knowing that people have your back and that you're linked into some kind of community organisations or political organisations, and the kind of support we've seen here today at this rally.
I don't care if private security thugs knock on my door. I'm going to tell them to get lost. I'm not leaving my flat. I don't care if the county sheriff knocks on my door with bailiffs and the police. I'm telling them to get lost because I will not volunteer for emergency accommodation. I don't care if the 4 horsemen of the fucking apocalypse come to my door. I'm not backing down and I'm not leaving my house. Eviction day!
No way!
Eviction day!
No way!
Eviction day!
No way!
Join CAR2, get organised, stay in your homes, don't bow down to this rotten government or rotten landlords.
The Tathony House eviction shows that you can organise with your neighbours, that you can resist eviction, that you don't have to go quietly into emergency accommodation. And I think everybody needs to follow our example. And whether you're in public housing or you're in private housing, whether your landlord is Dublin City Council or whether your landlord is a private landlord, I think we all need to unite and take to the streets. I'd call on the Irish Congress of Trade Unions. They should be calling mass protests on housing. We should have tens of thousands on the streets on housing, the way we did with the water charges.